Well, welcome back from the break. Again, we're talking North Okaloosa schools, and we were catching up on all the technology, all the fun classes, right from mechanics all the way to the high-tech industries. Actually, one of the things I was impressed with is that I'm all excited that we're getting that new pharmacy school up in Crestview. But you guys are already planning to channel students into that program, which I hadn't even thought about. I was all excited about schools, and now here we are. You guys are way ahead of the game. I want to congratulate you just on knowing you guys are there for us.
Thank you.
Alexis, can you tell us a little bit about the schools, Richburg and Southside? I guess there was some big changes that have happened there.
Thank you, Dina. We are proud of both of those schools. As you know, Richburg was the school that Bob was principal of for many years, and it transitioned to Shoal River Middle 2 years ago. Richburg, the facility, has been made into a center for our severely and profound handicapped children on the north end. For years and years, Dina, we only had a school on the south end for those children called Silver Sands School. And the children on the north end from Baker, Laurel Hill, and Crestview were bused all the way to Fort Walton. Many of these children in wheelchairs, and cerebral palsy children, lots of different handicapping conditions. Well, now we have our own special school in the north end at Richburg, and it houses about 50 students. We're expecting that number to grow next year, and it has all the facilities and the handicapped accessories, and we're so proud of that school. We also have some children there in an alternative program. We call it ECCI. We're moving into a really direct instruction phase with that group of kids. So total we have about 150 students at Richburg. And then Southside are our wee ones, our true little ones. We have 3- and 4-year-olds there, 3-year-olds that are pre-KD. They are disabled pre-kindergarten students. And then we have our VPK program, our voluntary pre-kindergarten, our 4-year-olds, and that has been a huge success. We didn't find that success at Valpy Elementary School, and we're going to try it on the south end next year, but at Southside that has been a thriving program. So we're very proud of Southside. And Southside also houses Troy University. And that's important to the community on the north end because our teachers, when they want graduate degrees, don't have to drive down to Fort Walton at $4 and something a gallon for gas. So that's exciting.
Yeah, I've seen the big signs there.
And one of the great things about this, Dino, is the fact that we've taken the 2 schools that were old schools that we moved out of, moved Southside over to Riverside and Richburg over to Shoal River. And instead of just letting them sit there, we have renovated both schools and are making great use out of them for 2 different special groups of students in the North County. And this is a special thing that we didn't have up until a couple of years ago in Crestview. So it's really a great service for the families and the children of Crestview to have that. You know, my wife Laura is a social worker in the pre-KD program in the county, and so she gets to spend a lot of time over at Southside, and she just loves going over there and spending time around those children. It's a special place for a special group of children to give them a head start into education, to give them a great opportunity to be successful in education. So we're very proud of what we've done in Crestview with both of those 2 schools.
And we need to remember that across the nation, bang for your buck, VPK, voluntary pre-K, is where the money is best used. In other words, if a child starts kindergarten behind, the research says they stay behind for 12 years. They never catch up. And it's very hard to catch up a child that's 5 years old if they've never been to preschool. And most people in our community send their children to preschool if they can, to a church or another private, but we want everyone to come to preschool. So that's
a big advantage for the child.
It is.
To start early in that program. Like you said, it can lag 12 years behind.
That's right. Ready to learn.
I guess another thing that I just touched briefly on is I know there's a lot of virtual classes out there nowadays, and I've seen some of the mailers that come to me from the schools. And can you tell me a little bit about virtual classes that you guys offer?
We have 2 programs. We have Okaloosa Online, and we have Florida Virtual. Okaloosa Online is actually a franchise of Florida Virtual that's run by Jeff Welch, and anyone that's interested in their child taking classes K through 12 can contact Jeff Welch or their child's principal. The principal of your school will have that information. That's it's a very good program to help students double up or get ahead on math and science, as you were talking earlier. Dino, some students want to take more than 7 classes a year. Some want to take 8 or 9 in a year, and some students want to take coursework in the summer. And as we were saying earlier at the break, colleges are going to be requiring students soon to take a virtual class while they're in their 4-year undergraduate. So we need to prepare our students for virtual education while they're still in middle and high school.
Yeah, so that would be a total requirement before you go to college, is that you've completed at least 1 or 2 eventually.
I think the state will require that.
And virtual school provides a great opportunity for students that are really wanting to step out. For instance, at Show River, we offer the Introduction to IT courses, advanced computer courses. Well, if a student wants to take that, but they also want to be in the construction class too, maybe, or the aerospace class, and they're in band, there's only 6 classes. So a lot of them are opting to take one of their core classes online, which frees up that period for them to take that elective to broaden themselves into some areas that they want to learn about before they get to the high school, to help them decide, maybe I want to go into information technology, or I want to go into the construction area or something like that. So it's really enabling students to have some extra opportunities for education.
And still get the credits that
and still
they
get the credits they need.
Yeah.
And Dino, we're moving into a period where the education world is going to have to catch up with the students. Children are coming into our schools now at 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 years old, already very proficient at using iPads, Nooks, Kindles, e-readers. We expect textbooks to be actually loaded onto hardware for students and have their own handhelds by 2015. So we are doing students a disservice if we don't teach them to use this electronics in our schools. We're going to be experimenting some at Walker Elementary School next year with a techie program where students actually have some chapter books, or maybe they're reading textbook online. We need to see the barriers and pitfalls of those programs, as also and the successes of those programs. So we have to be out there so we can keep kids engaged, because we want to keep our students on the cutting edge. I call it the bleeding edge sometimes. But that takes money, and as we've talked before, Dino, we appreciate the support of this community. I know that financial times have been difficult for businesses and for the school system, but we can't just march in place because we're having difficult financial times. We have to keep pushing forward technology and preparing our students for the world that they're going to live way beyond elementary and middle, because they'll need these technology tools in their 30s and 40s and 50s.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's our whole future economically, is the push for higher education. Bob, I just want to touch briefly before we get to the end of this segment about going right from the high tech all the way to the eco-friendly. What's happening?
Well, we're doing a lot of things. Of course, at Show River, we've mentioned this before, we're very fortunate that the school board saw fit to purchase some additional 29 acres, that including 17 acres of wetlands and a 2-acre lake, that we're turning into an outdoor education area, not just for our students at Show River, but for all the students of Okaloosa County, so that they can see a kind of a pristine area that resembles what North Florida looks like, away from the beach. And so we're developing some trails through that area in order to provide places for students to come and learn about the environment of Northwest Florida.
Yeah, and I know, because that's so important. I mean, we got all this high-tech stuff going on, but we also have to stay, you know, to our roots. And
take care of our environment. And growing up there, I love that ecosystem, so that's great.
Yeah, good, healthy water, understanding the nature cycle, and making sure we're not ruining it, because it's easy to do if we're not careful and if we don't have the right education. Again, I just want to thank you very much for being the sponsors. I want to thank you very much for being here today. And I mean, we could go on forever. I found this fascinating, all the things that go on in these schools. But again, I want to thank the listeners and the viewers today, and for being here at the Focus on Crestview. And now I'm going to turn it over to Derek, our president-elect, who's going to tell us about all the good updates that are coming and all the fun activities you can get involved in. And remember, your chamber is a great place to get involved.
if you're stretching every dollar these days, you can still have a lot of fun. Because in this tough economy, Cox Advanced TV is the best entertainment value. Just look at all the amazing choices you've got right at your fingertips. Thousands of movies and shows, many of which are free on demand. Plus loads of live sporting events. Now more than ever, a smart choice that gives you the most bang for your buck. Cox Advanced TV.